right? If you talk to any WordPress developer, no matter how good they are, there's always a horror story. And with Webflow, I think horror stories are quite rare.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the VezaTalks podcast, season 2, episode 1. I have the one, the only, Joe Finsweet Krug. What's up, Joe?
Hey, what's up, Stefan? Nice to be here. Really, really happy you have me on. Doing well.
So I've been wanting to get you on the podcast for the last year and a bit now, and I think now since we finally matured, season 1, in season 2, I said the first person I want to talk to is going to be Joe, and so here we are, Joe. Thanks again for jumping on, man. Listen, Joe, I want to ask you. We're obviously both Webflow agency founders. You guys are kicking ass in the development side, making cool apps. I listened to your talk that was happening at Webflow conference in San Fran. So really cool, very inspiring. I know the guy sitting beside me, he mentioned, he's like, wow, I never knew app development was so easy. I told him, like, this guy's making it look easy. It's Finsweet. He's like, oh, wow, cool. What's Finsweet? I told him about the whole agency and stuff. But really, man, like, why don't you share with us, like, what's your journey to founding Finsweet and what inspired you to focus specifically on the Webflow CMS?
Well, I started Finsweet because I just loved building websites. It was just so fun for me. So I really wanted to make it my full-time thing. And then when I found Webflow, I just fell in love. I used to be on WordPress, and then once I used Webflow, I just knew that was the right path for me. Fell in love with it, just started learning and learning and learning it, thinking that Webflow would grow up to be this really powerful platform. And that came true. Webflow turned out to be a really powerful platform, and it helps fuel the growth for Finsweet. So we really focus on it so that we can be the leaders in Webflow, and just make that our core competence. So huge Webflow fan, and of course Finsweet is a huge lover of the platform and the whole ecosystem.
Yeah, I agree. And you mentioned WordPress. I think every Webflow agency I spoke to had a horror story with WordPress, and it's the most common denominator between
Yeah.
all the people I speak about. It's a mess. And a couple days ago, we had to untangle a WordPress website and migrate over to Webflow. Dude, we spent more time untangling WordPress and just like looking at the different parts of codes that are like so interconnected to different apps, and the whole website was just a complete mess. That took us longer than the actual development part on Webflow. And I told the client, I'm like, listen, do you see now why Webflow is superior? He's like, yeah, you were right. I should have listened to you. I'm like, yeah, man, there you go. So, what's your experience with WordPress?
Well, to what you said earlier, everybody has a horror story on
Yeah,
WordPress, right? If you talk to any WordPress developer, no matter how good they are, there's always a horror story. And with Webflow, I think horror stories are quite rare. It's it's kind of hard to get yourself into a horror story with Webflow. So yeah, the experience with WordPress was just not good. It was taking too long to build projects. I took this project thinking it would be small. It was my first blog, which WordPress should be good at. And this site took me an incredible amount of time. And I thought, if I'm using a platform and its primary uses for blogging, um, wouldn't a blog be really easy to build, really intuitive? And it just wasn't for me. So that's when I started looking for other platforms, when I realized the development time was just too long on WordPress.
right, right. Yeah, that's literally it. I think
Yeah.
that a lot of people, when they come to Webflow from using whatever WordPress, Contentful, whatever, they have that same mindset. Oh, it's so easy. It's so simple to actually go and develop a website onto Webflow. And I think both of our clients. I mean, you guys have worked with an amazing book of business, and after your clients migrated over to Webflow or built the Webflow website, the feedback is always like, hey, thank you for this. It's great. And like the change management from going to their old CMS to Webflow, it's always like people are always thinking like, wow, it's so easy. I didn't think it was going to be this bad. I want to talk to you about challenges. I think a lot of listeners like listening to challenges that different entrepreneurs go through, right? Because as entrepreneurs, you yourself, Joe, you're judged from your own experience based on how you took the losses and how you've been through challenges, right? and the wins are just the butter on top of the lessons and the experience that you learn, you know. So what were some of the challenges early on in Finsweet that you faced, and how did you overcome them?
The earliest challenges from the beginning were hiring the right people. That it was very common that I would bring somebody onto the team to try to scale it, and that person didn't work out. So it happened many times. It happened for different positions, whether it was a JavaScript developer or designer. A lot of mistakes hiring designers, and with each hire and with each failure, I just got a little bit better at hiring people. And now I can say, looking at Finsweet, that we have a great culture with a lot of great people. So I think I've really improved since the beginning, but I struggled with hiring probably for 2 years into Finsweet. The first year was just me, and then the next 2 years a lot of failures in there, and it was really a challenge for me.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's you know how they say you're the average of the five people you hang around with, right?
Nice. Yep.
Work, friends, all that stuff. So it's like you want to hire good key A players. And I was telling you right before this podcast, Jesse on your team, he's just like he's a genius, and he's like a really good salesperson, and he understands Webflow really well. So
Nice.
you definitely picked a good A player to join the ranks of Finsweet.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Yeah, we hire good people, sometimes that don't even have much experience in what we're hiring them for. Sometimes yes, but not always. I mean, we're looking at the person first. Is this person a hard worker? Do they care about learning? Do they care about getting to the next level? Do they care about growing this business with the rest of the team? And those are really the first questions that we ask when hiring. When maybe in the past, what I was looking for was more around um, work examples, and not exactly figuring out who that person is, how accurate these work examples are, and it was just the wrong way to handle it.
Right, right. I can definitely relate to you. You know, I think in the early days of Veza, this is before we even discovered Webflow. It was all about like how do we hire the right marketer? How do we hire the right person to do paid media on Meta back in the day, Facebook and Instagram ads, right? Like so many times I've gotten burned by I think I got burned by hiring the wrong people more than like anything else in business, you know, and it costs you time. Now, fuck the money. It's like the time you waste hiring the person, their time at the company, and then after they leave, just fixing the mess up. That's been the biggest learning curve for me as well, you know. And I mean, what back before we even discovered Webflow, when we were still on WordPress, those developers, I didn't want to open that box of like what happened back then. But like, yeah, definitely hiring. And so as you're growing Finsweet and as the business is expanding, you have these great people around you. Have you noticed that your challenges are obviously growing in terms of the size, right? And how simple it is to solve them? You know, before challenges would be pretty easy to solve in like a day to now a week. Now they usually take a month and like 2 months. And as you make decisions now as a CEO, do you find that your decisions are being impacted in a longer time frame as opposed to immediately?
Absolutely, and that I think is a very natural thing as you grow in the amount of employees. So as the team kept growing and growing, things naturally other teams. And then there were more projects overall because there were more people who had more time to work on different things. So with the increase of the amount of projects and the increase of the amount of people, yeah, decisions that used to take one day turned into 1 week, turned into 1 month. And now um, sometimes we experience roadblocks from other teams, right? This is a whole new thing that you don't really get into until you have teams working really separate from each other. And yeah, it's played a huge impact in how we deliver things. It's very hard to tell our clients, we can estimate very well, but when we're building products, it's very hard to estimate when the delivery will be, because that delivery relies on so many different teams doing everything in a certain order and very little going wrong.
Mhm.
So yeah, It's definitely hard. It's more challenging in terms of time and also estimating how much time something will take. So yeah, for sure, we felt that absolutely, and we still
Yeah.
do as we're growing.
So let's
Yeah,
talk about, your philosophy on leadership and team management, especially in a creative tech driven environment like we're in right now. And, of course, you have at Finsweet many different products, a large team, and you're dealing with multifaceted teams at the client accounts. How does leadership play a role in all this stuff? What,
leadership is my
yeah, tell me your high level, 30,000 foot. Who's Joe Krug as a leader?
yeah, leadership is my most important role today.
Yeah.
It's I would say it's what I do every day. I play a leadership role. And with a team of our size, what I'm trying to do is turn each team leader into their own leader. So instill leadership qualities into them. So a lot of times they'll be in a challenging question, and I encourage them, come to me and ask, and let's talk about it. Maybe someone from their team is not delivering work, or they're out for 2 weeks, and we have to figure out how we're going to accomplish something.
Mhm.
We talk about things, we figure them out together, and I'm helping to make them a better manager. And really, what that is at Finsweet, being a better manager, being a better leader, is enabling everybody to do the best work that they can. We look at each person and we say, this person is capable of doing this. Let's have them do this. And your job as a leader is to make sure that they have all the tools, resources, and knowledge to make that happen, to make that challenge accomplished. So that's how I look at leadership. Giving people everything that they need to do their best work, their best job, and succeed at their top level.
Nice, nice. You know what we do?
What?
We tell everyone to go to the gym. That's the first step.
I I like that. I
Yeah,
really like that.
yeah. Do you have a Whoop, by the way?
That's badass. No, I don't. I don't have any devices like that.
Yeah, I was a big I was always against like Apple Watches and like Aura rings and all these different things, but my fiance bought me this Whoop. She's like, just try it. I'm like, fine, I'll just try it. 30 days, and man, it tells you everything from like when you go to the doctor, you put your finger in that little whatever it's called.
Yeah. Yeah.
Same thing, but like it measures your sleep, your strain, your activity, calories, all that stuff, and your resting heart rate. Basically, it optimizes you. So, as a CEO, it'll make you a personalized program after 30 days, how to handle the most amount of stress at different parts of the day. So, you can plan your day around when you have to make the most important decisions on your business or have like
Hmm.
deep loads of work. So, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Very interesting. That's the second just amazing testimonial I've gotten for that product. So you know what? I think I'm gonna have to give it a try.
Definitely, I highly recommend it. I think also you said something really cool about health and like obviously health is wealth, right? You need to be healthy, and I think that any entrepreneur or agency owner listening to this, I think that a lot of people, I know I did early on, but I always went to the gym, but I know early on I gave up parts of my health, right? Like sleep, working when I'm sick, working when I'm overtired, on the business or myself, and I always ignored the health part, right? Like I should eat properly, I should sleep at normal hours. How does that impact you, man? Like as a CEO, what is the A game for health that works for you?
Well, my health revolves mostly around food. I
Okay.
do lots of exercise. I sleep. I would say normal, anywhere between 6 to 8 hours per day. And food is really the source of where I feel my health coming from.
Mhm.
I completely cut out sugars and carbohydrates. I eat a very, very low carbohydrate diet, and I just feel great doing it. I'm generally, I used to eat relatively healthy, but not super healthy. And when I made this change, I just felt more clear, um, more motivated, and more calm.
Mm,
So when I made this change about a year ago, I just kind of decided, hey, I'm going to keep doing this for the rest of my life. And it's definitely it's played a big impact. Now, there were years of Finsweet where I was not eating like this. And I think I was just a little bit more tired. I had a little bit less energy. And everybody knows that when you're working, a high energy work session is very different than a low energy work session. So now I can sit in front of the computer and I can just have high energy work sessions because of my diet. So I see that as the center point. If I had to choose between eating healthy or exercising 3 times a week, I would choose eating healthy.
very nice.
Although I do both,
Yeah.
but the eating part of it that's my core.
Yeah, that's actually really cool. Like me right now, I uh, I eat everything. Like just before this call, bro, I wrecked the cinnamon bun, you know, and a
Nice,
coffee.
nice.
I bet you miss those sometimes. Um, yeah, so it's like I'm still trying to figure out what works for me. I know
Hmm.
that in the morning after my workout, actually right when I wake up in the morning, I'll have water with lemon inside. I'll pull up my journal or start journaling, planning out my day, and it just like sets the intention for the day. After during that time, I'll have a double espresso, right? Usually within like that period of like the first after the first 60 seconds, 45 to 60 minutes, not seconds. Then I'll have my first espresso and I start doing all that stuff, right? That way it keeps me balanced. But like in terms of diet, man, I've tried like just eating meat and like vegetables, no carbs. I can't do it for some reason. Like I feel hungry all the time when I do it. I don't know if it's like I have to like go through the hunger, or is that what you're supposed to feel
How
like?
long? Well, how long did you try to do it? Was this like
Well,
a week test?
yeah, like a week test.
Well, yeah, that's not enough time.
Yeah.
When you make this change, you're changing the fuel source in your body.
Hmm.
You're changing it from working on glucose to working on ketones. So your body is literally going through a fuel change, and it can be intense for some people. And you will feel hungry because your body is still looking for glucose, and you're not giving it to it.
Hmm.
When you have the carbs, your body just needs more carbs and more carbs and more carbs. So yeah, I would wait at least 2 weeks, but what I tell people is a month. But most people are going to see results in those 2 weeks.
Hmm.
And once you make the change, you can feel the change. It just feels different.
Hmm.
So, hey, it doesn't work for everybody, right? These
Yeah.
are results that a lot of people have experienced, but it is possible that you are not that's not the diet for you. But I would
Yeah.
definitely give it more than a week.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely do want to try it once more because I eat in a window between like 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. one meal a day,
Hmm.
and that's good for me.
Nice.
Although what I'm really eager to try is like do like a 72-hour water fast. Have you done those before?
Not 72 hours. I do 24 hours usually once a month.
24 hours once a month.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I'm looking really what I'd like to do one day is a 7 day.
that's intense.
It is intense.
You're gonna have to
Um,
meditate as you're doing that.
yeah, I'm gonna have to really look into that one. But that's kind of my goal
Hmm.
to be able to do that.
Hmm. Do you feel that like sometimes prioritizing that over a work-based goal, there's precedent on the work-based goal over that health goal?
I don't see these conflict at all.
Hmm.
There is like I feel there is not a single time during the day where I'm thinking, oh, I have to choose between eating healthy or I have to choose between working.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, no relation.
You're a beast.
Yeah, you know, I made a decision, and I can feel the improvement,
Hmm.
and it's just easy. I also like to think that knowledge is a huge motivator. I've done a lot of reading, about how the body works, how the body digests food, the influence of glucose and insulin on the body. And once you start reading about that and becoming like just a understanding what happens when you eat certain foods, it's very motivating. So you said, do you miss the cinnamon bun? And the answer is no, I don't. Just the idea of eating that and the process that happens in my body after that, completely turned off by it. So through that knowledge, I have a lot of
Mhm.
motivation and drive to just continue with it.
Got you, got you. And how long has this diet been going on for? When did you start it? Started like
About 1 year. I think next month it'll be 1 year, so 11 months.
okay, congratulations, almost 1 year anniversary.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I have to definitely. Like, the thing is though, also me and my fiance we're expecting our first child now in April,
Hmm.
and I'm sure you. I don't. Do you have kids?
I do. And actually the change was caused because we had our son, our first son, and I
Okay.
made a decision also I want to be a healthy dad. So
Okay.
that's when I started reading, and since he was born really I've been on this diet.
Okay. Cool. So I guess he's turning one soon as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. Awesome. How old are you, by the way?
I am 32.
Okay. Very good. Very good. A
Yeah.
few years older than me. I'm 30, turning 31 now in April.
Nice.
Yeah. Man, it's crazy. Like, I think when Finsweet first came on the market, we were at that time. I'm just trying to remember how I found Finsweet. It wasn't through Webflow's website. It wasn't on the conference. I'm trying to remember how it came. Like,
Was it a tool, piece of content?
it might have been a piece of content. It definitely wasn't a tool because I don't. I'm actually not a Webflow developer, nor do I understand how to develop in Webflow. My background is in marketing, so I focus mostly on marketing. On like my
Hmm.
specialty is content marketing, SEO, and doing CRO on websites. That's my creme de la creme, and of course
Nice.
doing sales. But I believe it was a piece of content, right, that someone shared with me, if I remember correctly. And I saw the website. And I saw that lion moving on the website, or the animal you had. You got some like creature going there,
Yep.
coming after me. I'm
Yep.
just like, wow, what is this? So yeah, I think it was like 4 years ago. No, maybe
Nice.
maybe less, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, right? And so since then, I know that you guys were releasing was it widgets or like elements for? Yeah, it was actually some elements for um, your library. It was the library. It was the Finsweet library I saw afterwards. I thought, oh wow, these guys are killing it. So, how did you get
Nice.
into creating products for Webflow? Was it natural or was it just like a client requested it and due to popular demand?
Well, it started because I needed to reuse scripts on a
Mm,
lot of different client sites. I realized, okay, this is the second time I'm using this script. This is a common thing. So I created my own little repository of scripts, and I started filming tutorials and clonables
mhm,
for these solutions. And that was those were the first YouTube videos that we released. That was the first little project, and it was fun because I got some experience making this content. It helped people. It didn't help a lot of people. It was a very small user base, but people still used it and they thanked me, and it was valuable. And people started to know Finsweet because of these little JavaScript snippets. So I said, okay, let's kind of take this to the next level, and let's now create more tools, not just snippets, entire tools that allow people to do more advanced things on their Webflow site. And we started all this product building based on what our clients were asking for. So we are initially an agency, so we have a lot of agency knowledge, and we have a very successful growing agency, and through that we get so much information about what clients need on Webflow, and we started building our own tools for it that we then released to the public. So it was very natural until it got to a point where I said, okay, this is a really good marketing technique too, because
yeah.
now everybody knows who we are because of these tools and this content. So it it just works for us. It's been a really strong strategy since we started it.
Very cool. And how do you guys feel now about like emerging technologies like AI, machine learning? Do you think that's going to impact Webflow development or design in the coming years?
I think it will impact, absolutely. Um, there's going to be much easier ways to make websites. However, I still don't think it's going to replace the need for people putting those websites together.
I agree.
The reality is most businesses need something more custom
Hmm.
than speaking to an AI. At least
Hmm.
for AI technology right now, it's not yet at the point where you can really communicate exactly what you want and it gives you back exactly what you want,
Yeah,
especially in the visual side. So I think it's going to play a role. There'll be tools to work better and work faster and maybe more efficiently, but it's not going to replace the people that use those tools.
absolutely. I 100% agree with you. Here at Veza Digital, we focus on making marketing websites exclusively, and we don't make products. We don't do these large websites just for like information or e-commerce. We only do marketing websites for B2B SaaS companies. So it doesn't matter if you're in fintech, health tech, any tech. You want a marketing website, we do the marketing website. We don't go too intense on like development and adding different apps and stuff like that. However, recently we've had some sophisticated clients come to us and ask us for advice about apps. Hey, what app should we install on our Webflow website? Do we need this app? They're trying to, when they come and try to scope it out for you, but you know it's wrong. You don't want
Hmm.
to say anything yet because you're trying to be nice. Um, but then those apps that make no sense, right? Like there's this in the Webflow apps. There's the HubSpot app that not natively, it doesn't natively integrate with websites, and we've tried it, but we just can't seem to crack it. Some clients have so many different custom types of forms and different types of tracking parts of their funnel that this just doesn't work. You know what I mean? So, and then trying to explain that to them is a challenge because they think it's like the go-to thing to solve that problem. How do you guys deal with that? Like, do you guys? I'm sure you have these kind of conversations, but like, what are some of the objections you have when it comes to you know them wanting to use their own apps or them wanting to use their own creations? And obviously, we have a fiduciary to put our clients first and make the best website. So, how do you feel about that?
Well, it's all about education. You have to
Yeah.
educate that client. So, to your example, what we would do is we would type out a fairly long response explaining why that can't be used.
Hmm.
You have this special tracking, and this special tracking, which is not supported in this application. If you remove those trackings, we can use the HubSpot app. If you keep these customizations in, then we cannot use the app. It's
Hmm.
impossible.
Hmm.
And then here is a suggestion that we recommend. Instead of using the app, we can write this type of JavaScript code using the API, and it's going to be about 3 hours of work. So it's just educating, right? Explaining why something doesn't work, um, and why. And if you do it, the disclaimer, right? If we do this for you, we don't recommend it, but we can. You may have these challenges in the future. Or flat out saying no. Hey, we absolutely will not or cannot do this. So just being clear and transparent, that's how we deal with all of these types of requests, no matter how reasonable or unreasonable.
Hmm. And just second half of that question, I want to just tap a little bit deeper into this. Um, so, what are big challenges that you see in the industry today as they relate to these overwhelming amount of apps that are being added to the app marketplace on Webflow?
Depends on the client. There some clients are more active in their project and some are very standoffish.
Yeah,
We prefer the clients that stand off a little bit and just trust us. Hey,
yeah.
we need this end result. Tell us what to do. Right? We have a bunch of clients like that. And then we have some clients that, yeah, they try to manage the site themselves. They
Yeah.
go and they're going to suggest a certain thing. So, um, what challenges do we see in the app marketplace? I guess is to make sure that the best and most valuable apps are presented first, right? They are the top ones presented.
Mhm.
Um, and that anything that's not good quality or is misrepresented is taken down from the store or reworded and rechanged. So yeah, I really don't see there being much challenges other than that. Just making sure that it stays high quality. That would be my, yeah, that's how I'd answer that.
Okay, cool, cool. So, for Finsweet, what defines a successful project? Is it the client's happy? Is it the website's working? How do you guys define client success?
Client happy.
Client
At the
happy?
end of the project,
Okay.
we deliver the project, and that client says, "Wow, this was a great experience working with Finsweet. We got everything we wanted. We felt like this was a great value, and we'd love to work with them again." That's success. And with that, the site is working, but I don't think that we should ever stop at success of it working, because if the site is working, and even we followed everything in the project spec, but the client is not happy at the end, then we did something wrong. We did not, that was not a successful project. So even if we were paid and the scope was completely perfectly done, that client's got to be happy. That's definitely been a company motto since day one.
Yeah, love that. And yeah, we've had situations where, we have some clients where, we delivered everything and they're for some reason still unhappy. And I think moments like that is when the team comes together to really dissect what really went wrong and what went good in that project, right? And man, sometimes I even hop on a call with the client. I want to learn, like, what is their perspective? How come they're unhappy? What were those like pressure points or like resistance they had from our team and vice versa? And usually, after I have that conversation with them, we offer, 3 months of free management or 6 months of free management to just really improve the website, do cosmetic uplifts in the website month after month, and usually that relationship and that trust gets built up again. But moments like that is really the moments that we had the most growth in our company, right? When we messed something on on a project and we came back to learn about it. More so is even successful projects. We like to do exit interviews, although we're still working with them on a monthly basis. Exiting that one scope of work just to get their feedback. We started doing this about back in September. So yeah, back in September we started doing it, and even those kind of conversations, you can discover some real good golden nuggets from clients. Like they'll tell you, yeah, the project was amazing. I'm so happy. However, right? And it's always a however, and like their tone of voice and their body language, it tells you everything in terms of like what you can improve, right? And then if taking that call recording and just showing it back to your team, letting them understand it too, they'll be like, ah, okay, there's like an insightful moment. So that has been really good for us in terms of improving our delivery and our production of the websites. I recommend, or if you guys already do it, cool. But that's been a good opportunity for us.
That's great. Always good to learn. And some clients won't say something unless they're specifically asked like that, right? Some people will just say, "Okay, we're good to go," and they won't share that feedback. So the one-on-one call, nice touch.
Yeah, it's definitely a nice touch, and they appreciate it. What advice would you give to a new agency founder that just started his Webflow agency, January 1st, 2024?
I would recommend getting work examples. That's what I need to see. I need to see good, high quality work examples,
Hmm.
and they should be live ready websites. Ideally, websites that are for real businesses.
Hmm.
Don't have to be. Uh, they don't have to be for real businesses, but it adds a little bit more touch to your portfolio. So really growing the portfolio, that's what you have to do. And through that, that's where you are also learning. So instead of just watching videos, you should be watching videos and building whatever those videos are showing, so that you have something to show when you have a potential new client. If you have a lead and you have no projects to show, it's going to be very hard for someone to hire you. Where if you have 5, 6, 7 websites built, they look and feel live ready, and they show a really good representation of your work. That's so much easier for someone to say yes to when you are pitching them.
Okay, cool. Love that. Love that, man. Joe, I usually like to ask all my guests this question. What's one question I didn't ask you that you would ask yourself? Dun, 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 dun.
What's what's the question that you didn't ask me that I would ask myself?
Yeah.
Um, this is another kind of hard question for me. How do I ask myself a question?
What's with the
I
plants
guess,
behind you?
huh?
What's with the plants behind you?
What's with the plants behind me?
Yeah.
Well,
They give you energy, frequencies, peace of mind.
no, no. It is just it is just a nice visual. We've always went with the plant feel for Finsweet branding, so I was
Okay.
kind of unsure what to put back there. So
Yeah.
we said, okay, let's go plants, and
Okay.
we went
Cool.
plants.
Hold on. Let me go see your website right now. Finsweet. .com or .io? It's .com.
Dot
.com.
com.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Is that a panther
Yeah,
or a lion? Panther, huh?
yeah. Well, not. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
yeah
Panther,
panther.
elephant, a
Mm-hmm.
dolphin, and
Mm-hmm.
a unicorn.
Yeah,
Love it. Are
yeah.
those what are those? Lotties or is that spline?
That's a very custom code based build. So we that is WebGL. That's 3JS. And those are 3D models stripped down for the web. Very
Okay.
complex build, and actually, we are making a change to the website because a lot of people think it's cool, and it's a very technically impressive thing to do on a website, but it it doesn't have the kind of conversion that we want. And we decided about last year, the year before, that we're going to start focusing more on marketing conversion. So our new website is going to be a little bit more focused on marketing and less focused on technically impressive feats. So
Gotcha.
we are going to roll that out probably in a few weeks, and it's just based on sending that message and getting someone to a call to action.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, that's the way it should be.
Yeah.
Wow, you guys work with Dropbox. You guys work with Lighthouse Global. Crazy.
Yep.
You guys worked with
Yep.
Searchable. Pacific Asset Management. No way.
Yep.
How'd
Yep.
you land these guys?
Well, um, we're we have a lot of search, right? We have a lot of organic search. We have so many products and content and tools for Webflow. We come up in search all the time. When people are researching features, we're one of the companies that are found, and people refer us, right? We
Nice.
and sometimes it's not even our own clients. A lot
Yeah.
of times, um, there'll be another agency that's like, "Hey, this is way too much for us. We can't do it, but this company probably can."
Mhm.
So a lot of the community is naturally referring us. So all different types, but we do no paid marketing. All of our marketing is considered our product initiatives. We don't
Mhm.
do any advertisements. We don't do any pay per click. None of that. We never have.
Got you. Got you. Got you. Yeah, we focus mostly on SEO
Hmm.
and our content, and yeah, it's been wonderful. But I
That's
haven't
great.
actually. I mean, like it's so funny. It's so bizarre, isn't it? Like we've always been on the radar for each other, but like on different sides of the market. We've always been on the marketing side and focusing on the content, whereas you and Finsweet have been on the product side and focusing on the product. So two completely sides of the same market. Pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool. That's it's the great part about a growing ecosystem, right?
Yeah,
There's so many different companies that are involved with Webflow, but a lot of them don't do the same thing, but yet they're using the same platform to help grow their business. So
exactly.
it's an amazing thing. It's a really healthy ecosystem and community of people.
Yeah, it definitely is, and it's growing incredibly fast.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We have, so just for fun, we post Webflow developer jobs, right? And we did an analysis like how many developers we had apply in 2023 versus 20 versus 200 2000 2022. I can't even speak. Maybe it's a cinnamon bun. But like yeah, in 2023 we had double the amount of applicants for Webflow developer than in the year 2022. That tells you something.
Wow. That's big. Yeah. That's impressive.
Yeah, so it's like people are. It's that right there is a leading indicator of like how big the market actually is getting and how fast it's growing in a year over year overlook.
Yeah. If you've never built websites before, this is an opportunity for you to have a side business, change careers,
Yep.
do something completely different in your life, right? This is a huge win. And if you have built websites, you quickly understand that Webflow is just so superior and so much more powerful and efficient and valuable than what you're currently building on. So whether you have no experience with websites or a lot of experience with websites, you are just drawn to this product. And that's why the ecosystem is growing so fast.
Yeah, that was very well said. Love that, Joe. It's been a
Nice.
pleasure. Thanks for being on the VezaTalks podcast.
Thanks, Stefan.